Admiral Sarah Martinez stood at the viewport of the UES Retribution, watching the assembled fleet of alien vessels maintain their desperate formation around the dying Zelkarai homeworld. The irony wasn't lost on her 50 years ago. She had been a child hiding in the ruins of New Geneva while these same ships reduced Earth's greatest cities to glass and ash. The communications array crackled to life, and the familiar voice of High Counselor Thexmar filled the bridge. The Zelkari's once proud chittering had been reduced to a pathetic whimper. Admiral Martinez, we formally request an immediate ceasefire. The Galactic Coalition is prepared to offer full reparations for past misunderstandings. We seek only peace between our peoples. Misunderstandings. Martinez's jaw tightened. That's what they called the systematic extermination of 6 billion humans. Captain Chen, she said quietly to her second-in-command, never taking her eyes off the alien fleet. What's our current tactical assessment? Captain James Chen consulted his tactical display, his cybernetic eye a gift from Zelkari plasma fire, during the siege of Luna glowing softly in the dim bridge lighting. Their defensive grid is failing, Admiral. 40% of their orbital platforms are dark. Their fleet is down to 37% combat effectiveness. We estimate complete military collapse within 6 hours. Martinez nodded slowly. The Zelkari had once been the galaxy's supreme military power, their technology decades ahead of human capabilities. They had looked at humanity's first tentative steps into interstellar space and decided that the young species represented a future threat to their dominance. Their solution had been swift and brutal, a preemptive strike designed to cripple human civilization permanently. They had nearly succeeded. The holographic display showed the current state of the Zelkari capital world. Once a gleaming metropolis of crystalline spires and floating gardens, it now resembled Earth circa 2157 burning cities, refugee streams, and the distinctive mushroom clouds that marked the collapse of civilization. The parallels were intentional. "Sir," came the voice of Lieutenant Torres from the communications station. "The Althrani Confederacy is also requesting permission to address you." Another voice filled the bridge, this one belonging to Speaker Velvar of the Althrani, a species whose graceful, ethereal appearance had once earned them the nickname Space Angels among human explorers. That was before they had volunteered to cleanse the outer human colonies after the Zelkari had softened Earth's defenses. "Admiral, the Althrani Confederacy wishes to express our regret for past actions taken in alliance with the Zelkari hegemony. We were merely following the guidance of our senior coalition partners. Surely, there is room for forgiveness between civilized species." Martinez almost laughed. The Althrani had been civilized enough when they were sterilizing Mars colony with biological weapons, or when they were hunting down human survivors in the asteroid belts. Their idea of civilization had been quite different then. "Admiral," Captain Chen said softly, "long-range sensors are detecting movement in the Kronar sector. It appears the hegemony's remaining allies are abandoning their positions." Of course they were. The Drakmiri Empire, the Vorthak Collective, the Nethi Syndicate, all the species that had joined the coalition to partition human space among themselves, were now fleeing to preserve their own worlds. They had been eager enough to participate when humanity seemed helpless, but the prospect of facing human vengeance had apparently cooled their enthusiasm for the alliance. The transformation of humanity had been remarkable to witness. In the 50 years since the slaughter, as the history books now called it, human civilization had rebuilt itself around a single principle: never again. The scattered survivors had emerged from their hiding places with a grim determination that surprised even themselves. They had reverse-engineered captured alien technology, developed new weapons systems, and forged alliances with the galaxy's oppressed species. Most importantly, they had remembered. Every destroyed city, every murdered family, Every act of cruelty committed by the Coalition had been carefully documented and filed away in the vast archives beneath New Geneva. The humans who had rebuilt their civilization were the children and grandchildren of survivors, raised on stories of loss and taught that the galaxy was a place where only strength guaranteed survival. Admiral Lieutenant Torres reported, "We're receiving a direct communication from Earth Command." The image of Fleet Admiral Yuki Tanaka appeared on the main screen, her expression as cold and determined as Martinez felt. Behind her, Martinez could see the memorial wall listing the names of the 6 billion dead, a reminder that had hung in every human command center for half a century. "Admiral Martinez, what is the status of Operation Nemesis?" "All objectives achieved, Admiral. The Zelkari home fleet is neutralized, their orbital defenses are failing, and their Coalition allies are in full retreat. The Galactic Coalition has requested peace negotiations." Admiral Tanaka was quiet for a long moment, her eyes fixed on something beyond the camera's range. "And your recommendation?" Martinez looked out at the dying world before her, then at the faces of her crew, men and women, who had been born into a galaxy where humanity was considered extinct, who had spent their lives preparing for this moment of reckoning. "The Coalition had their chance for peace 50 years ago, Admiral. They chose differently." "Understood. You are authorized to proceed with Phase 2. Target the remaining Coalition homeworlds. No quarter, no mercy, no survivors." The channel closed, leaving the bridge in silence, except for the soft hum of ship's systems. Martinez turned to face her crew, seeing in their faces the same mixture of satisfaction and regret that she felt in her own heart. "You heard your orders," she said quietly. "Signal the fleet. All ships, prepare for jump to Althrani space." As the human fleet powered up their jump drives, the final transmission from the Zelkari homeworld crackled through the communications array. "Please. We have families. Children." Captain Chen looked at his admiral, his cybernetic eye whirring softly as it adjusted focus. "Admiral, should we respond?" Martinez stared at the burning world one last time, remembering a little girl who had watched her own world burn from a refugee transport 50 years ago. "Tell them," she said finally, "that so did we." The human fleet jumped into hyperspace, leaving behind only the silence of space and the dying light of another world that had learned too late the price of underestimating humanity's capacity for memory and for vengeance.